The Arkham series is my favorite franchise of all time. My favorite games of all time. And with talks of continuing the universe Rocksteady built 15 years ago, yes, I know time got the best of all of us. It seems like to me now more than ever that executives at WB and DC are only hearing and seeing dollar signs when it comes to the Arkham games. And if anyone else hasn't said it yet, I'll be the first to say it. Like, the Arkham series will not be your cash cow. The sheer impact it had on not only me, but you and the people you probably watch as well will never be understood like it should be. And the fact that, honestly, the games even happened in the first place, we should cherish that fact, along with the people that popularized these characters and how they were given the opportunity to reprise their roles in this completely new format. So I'm going to repeat myself for emphasis. Again, the Arkham series will not be your cash cow. It's best to let go of what was, so we can appreciate what could be. And with that being said, what could a game outside the Arkham series be like? And I'm talking straying far away from the Arkham series, at least in terms of looks, because we all know what happened last time.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
But no, really, departing from the Arkham series, what could a brand new Batman game look like? In my eyes, I see what visually would be a remaster of Batman Vengeance and Batman Rise of Sin Tzu. While the Arkham games all have their own unique atmosphere and art style, I think this new game could really offer a fresh coat of paint for a fully fleshed out Batman game. The blood red sky seen in Batman the Animated Series, the towering multi-layered skyscraper seen in Gotham Knights and Arkham Knight, all mixed together with a grim and noir-like tint like in Batman Year One. And maybe they could finally have a city that's populated with people walking around. Although I never really had a problem with the map being devoid of civilians. I think this game could have the potential to blend every unique art style seen in Batman mythology, from the likes of Jeff Johns to Tim Sale, from Tim Sale to Jim Lee, and from Jim Lee to David Mazzucchelli. And honestly, I should probably say this now, throughout this entire video, you'll hear me constantly rave about the Arkham games because they are simply just that good. And really, this Batman game would be paying complete homage to that, along with Batman Vengeance and Rise of Sin Tzu, and in addition to other famous Batman stories. And speaking about where this game would be getting inspiration from, let's talk more about story beats. Now, we all know the Arkham series introduced us into this predetermined and lived-in world of characters we already know and love, but what if this game took a more direct approach to the mythos of Batman, keeping the utmost respect to the die-hard fans while still being easy to understand and open enough for those that aren't in the know? This really could be a beautiful new look inside the Batman world of things and the development of the characters within that universe. And similar to Matt Reeves' The Batman, the emphasis to make this game be its standalone universe before involving any other superpowered beings like the Justice League could give more focus and more detail to the world and what it provides to someone who's just learning about these characters. And you know, for me personally, when I was younger, yes, I read some comics, but I never really got the opportunity to take a deep dive
He said it!
into the most famous stories for Batman, like The Long Halloween, like The Dark Knight Returns, like A Death in the Family, and like The Killing Joke. So I always appreciated when there would be comics and animated movie adaptations for these legendary stories. So for those that either didn't have the opportunity to read the comics or just didn't have any interest in reading books at all, I included, this would give that opportunity to people that heard everyone else rave about these stories to finally come to their senses and be like, oh, okay, now I get it. Like, I understand now why people love Batman to the absolute extreme. And I'm not sure what exact story it could adapt, but I know that following a tale of Batman's earlier years where he might have mastered his demons, yes, but he's still in his own development process of finding how to really make a change with this true persona of his. And I think that would be an interesting experience if done correctly. I'm thinking this game could follow the story of Batman Year One, where he's truly just a guy in a cape and Kevlar suit, where he's seemingly just a myth and common folklore amongst your everyday Gothamites. But in reality, he's this new force for change and this symbol of hope in the way he tracks down the city's top crime families, mainly the feud between the Falcones and the Maronis. And while trying his best to feed into the legend of the Batman, and honestly, just imagine playing parts of the game where Batman is just narrowly escaping the police after being injured, similar to scenes in Mask of the Phantasm and Batman Year One. And a story like The Long Halloween, where Batman's detective skills are really being put to the test and the groundwork is being laid down for why he and Two-Face have such a personal history together. Really further developing the reasons as to why Two-Face chose to take up this new life of his. And to really throw players off kilter, maybe it could have multiple endings similar to Telltale's rendition of Batman. But I'm talking actual multiple endings where your actions genuinely have consequences and they'll decide the path the story will end up taking. But having something along those lines could have the story really showcase why Batman is such a beloved character and presenting the earlier tales of our Caped Crusader. Oh, and no Joker for this game. Deal with it. Moving on to the gameplay and combat. I've definitely heard some complaints and some people sort of take jabs at the Arkham games and how it portrays Batman to may as well just be Superman with the way he's able to fly across a room just to knee a guy into a coma. And while the most developed version of the free flow combat system is so extremely fun, like I literally cannot put into words how much fun this shit is. Batman is a superhero, don't forget that, but he cannot be doing all this, at least not while he's in his early years. So in this game, maybe it would really give you a challenge to master combat while being Batman in his weakest form. Getting rid of the high-tech gadget scene in Arkham Knight, I'm thinking this combat system would be more archaic, like the combat in Arkham Asylum, where his moves are more deliberate and where criminals could actually pose a very real threat to the Dark Knight, because as I said before, he is essentially just a dude in a cape and bodysuit. As far as Predator sections go, I would probably advocate for the NPCs to use their brains just a little bit more, because a lot of the time in the Arkham games, they would kind of just keep making the same mistake without learning how to avoid certain things so they don't get taken out. Now, don't get me wrong, the NPCs in Arkham Knight definitely learn from their mistakes, and honestly more than I thought they would, but I feel as though that process needs to be just a little bit quicker in order to keep the player on their toes. Whether it be forcing them to switch vantage points or forcing them to switch up their tactics. I think that the NPCs need to be just a little more aggressive and a little more alert in Predator encounters, and honestly think about it. All armed with assault rifles, if you and your buddies are getting taken out one by this thing you heard wasn't even supposed to be real, I know that you know that you'd be shitting your pants, barely knowing where to go, or honestly even considering surrender, because you know that if this creature of the night gets its hands on you, it might just be over for you. But moving on to the cast for the game, it's obvious that the more iconic voice actors for these characters wouldn't be returning, so I think it's best to look for people that truly understand these characters for who they are and really can channel their inner demons in order to portray them properly. I don't know who exactly I'd want to voice Batman, but I'd want someone, no, I need someone that really understands the pain this character feels. To understand the loneliness, the anger, the rage, the heartbreak, everything bottled into one. And most importantly, the fear. When Batman speaks to criminals, they should be absolutely terrified just off of his words alone. And this actor should really play into knowing that the criminals are deathly afraid of this mysterious figure, almost sort of toying with them simply just because he knows he can, and because it'll either get them talking or traumatize them, or both. Yeah, definitely both. As far as the soundtrack goes, obviously we need something dark and gritty, but something that can also convey the pain and hope Batman feels all the time. And you know, a lot of the time when I'm personally feeling down or alone, and I mean like truly alone, the sort of loneliness you only feel when you know that nobody around you understands this purpose you have in life, feeling like you're the only person that's up for the task of doing the right thing and making the right choice, I just listen to this. Literally my favorite piece of music in literally any game, and honestly one of my favorite works of music ever, because though it has no words, it makes me feel as the composer is understanding all the things that I feel, those feelings of anger, loneliness, heartbreak, but ultimately knowing that those feelings should just fuel you towards your destiny. But talking more about the music in the game, I know everyone went absolutely crazy when they heard Something in the Way for the first time. So I feel like using something in a similar genre would really just add the tastiest coat of icing on top of the cake. And personally, ever since I heard Something in the Way, it really opened my eyes for songs that use more strings and melody. So if they could use something from the album 17 or Question Mark by XXXTentacion, it would really be a great fit. And if you've heard those albums before, you know how extremely dark and tragic they are, so it would just further put you into perspective of how tragic and dark this world really is. Now, as far as the city and map design, it could take two approaches. I absolutely adored the Metroidvania style of Arkham Asylum, where you got to explore, but there would be some sections of the map that would only be explorable after you progress through the story to a certain degree. But on the flip side, we could have another huge and complex open world for us to explore, like the latter three Arkham games spoiled us with. And seeing as I enjoy both types of map design, maybe this game would start off in the Metroidvania style in a set environment, and then after a certain point of progression, it would allow you to explore the open world of Gotham City, finding out everything that there is to know about the history of the city. And I think it'd be best if there was more story to be told with just the environment alone. But now, on to my final thoughts. I think it would be cool if you had to return to the Batcave for supplies and whatnot, and if a bigger emphasis was put on the Batcave, I think that would really help sell the idea of Batman further committing to this goal of helping Gotham with all the means he can afford. This game also needs time of day changes. In my video about Arkham Knight's concept art, I was talking about how cool it would have been to have a progressive time of day, where the night would progress to sunrise after completing the story, because truthfully, it gets just a little boring when you know that the skies in Arkham Knight could look different over time, yet they don't. So I think it would only benefit this game to have a rolling time of day system, or really time of night system. Maybe a rework to the gliding system could be in order, like a real boots on the ground feeling, swinging between rooftops or even hitching a ride off helicopters or blimps. And for this last one, I just have a little selfish request. I want to see some really adult shit in this game. Like, I want it to hold absolutely nothing back from showing the player the actual travesties that happen in the city full of twisted and broken minds. I need like Last of Us type violence in this game, but obviously toned down to fit the subject matter. But I'd really want it to show the severity of how bad Gotham City has gotten, and that would only further draw the line in the sand between it and the Arkham series. And this game wouldn't be a direct copy of the series, but it would serve the purpose more as a spiritual successor and a beautiful homage to what paved the way for it to even exist. And it may not be next year, maybe not even 5 or 10 years, maybe 15, who knows. But one day, far, far in the future, we will get the one singular quintessential Batman game we've all been deserving of. Hey, hold on. Before you click off the video, I just gotta say, thank you for watching. First off, I gotta give a massive thank you to Windex's Love and The Complete Mental, because without them, this video definitely wouldn't have gotten made. And I remember, like, I was just in my car about to go for a run, and just having this conversation with my boy Windex, it really sparked the idea of like, man, we really need a break from the Arkham games. So in the future, what could a game that isn't in the Arkham series look like? And you know, I'll never get tired of these games because, you know, I literally grew up with them. It fuels my purpose for just living in general. So I always have these 4 games and this character to thank for that. But I gotta say, like, I am getting a little bit tired of hearing about Arkham stuff. I'm just kind of tired of people spreading rumors about supposed sequels to the Arkham franchise, excluding Suicide Squad, because that's a different case to me. I think when Kevin Conroy passed away, it really made me think, like, we gotta appreciate these things that are given to us, because the only thing that's promised tomorrow is the unknown. So because we'll never get to hear him voice Batman again, it forces you to appreciate what we do have instead of asking and begging for more. Nah, I don't know. That's just me and my thoughts, and I really stand my ground about not wanting the Arkham series to continue. But aside from Batman related stuff, more about me. The purpose this channel serves is for me to be able to give you a peek inside my mind. That's what these videos are for at the end of the day, like just to give you a peek inside what I can think of in my mind. And as I said in the previous video, whether it be a car video, whether it be a documentary, whether it be an unofficial music video, whether it be a video about me interviewing my 5th grade teacher, I just want to create dope shit. That's really it. I want the ability to have a clear-cut vision and execute it near flawlessly for me to look back on and just be proud of, but also for you to enjoy. So I'll stress this as much as I need to. Please just be prepared to see videos about anything under the sun, because when I called myself the jack of all trades in this video, I meant it. Like, you gotta understand, like, you give me life. You give me life to keep on doing things. You give me life to keep on going, you know? And I know I'm only at a certain amount of subscribers compared to any other person, but like, fuck comparing people for just a second. Just from me to you, like I said before, I really can't stress this enough. This is a dream of mine. So to really make this happen, to be taking those small steps in order to make this become a reality, it means everything to me. So every like, every view, every comment, every follow, whatever the case is, it means the universe to me. It always will. But if you made it this far into my little conscious stream of thought, thank you. And I mean that. So with that being said, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.